Right now, our generation, we are the most suicidal generation in history, the most anxious generation in history, the most medicated generation in history, and there's something seriously wrong where we are the least married generation, and also we are less likely to have babies than any other generation prior to us. We have more comforts, we have more cell phones, we have more things at our disposal, and yet we are having less children and we are literally not repopulating the species. So there's a lot of things going on here. First and foremost is we do not value the ultimate thing. And that the ultimate thing should be loving God, loving people, and raising children in a society that follows God's commands against the culture, not in consistency with the culture, to stand, on my opinion, on eternal truths, fight for the country, fight for our civilization, and then also understand that you, especially as men, but women as well, you are obligated to do difficult and hard things. The West was built, our nation was built on delayed gratification, not instant gratification. That maybe I'm not gonna go do what feels good in the moment. I'm going to forsake what feels good, and I'm going to parlay that into the future. Now let's talk about this. So the dating pool is a complete catastrophe. Men are unhappy with women, women are unhappy with men, and you're both wrong. Let's start with men. Men, very simple. If you are spending inordinate amount of times staring at screens, playing video games, and not being active and productive, that is deeply unattractive to women. Do you know one of the things that women want more than anything else is they want the confidence and the security that when life gets difficult and when life starts falling apart, that man will lead them towards security and stability. Because deep down, women have a very well-built and finely tuned, God-given instinct that they'll be able to tell in a man when the bullets start firing, is this guy gonna protect me and protect my kids? And is he gonna provide, or is he gonna run for the hills? And for you as the man, you need to be able to demonstrate that. And it's in ways you might not imagine. And let me just give you some other practical advice. Men, if you go on a first date with a woman and you split the check, I don't care if you don't have $41 to cover her meal. What is more important, the money in your pocket or the character in your heart? The world is brutal right now. It's tough. Things are expensive. It's hard to find wives. It's hard to build children. It's hard to raise children, I should say. Hard to build families. It is harder than ever to support a family of 4 in this country. In 1985, you could support a family of 4 with about 35 weeks of labor. One husband or one father. Now it requires 60 weeks of labor, so the wife has to go into the workforce. People say, Charlie, what does success look like? If I was running the whole operation, it would be one very simple goal. You ready? I want a country where the mom does not have to go work if she does not want to go work. There's something cruel and unusual for a mom of a 9-month-old that has to give over that 9-month-old to strangers to go work at some stupid dead-end job as like an administrator. Nothing against her. She's got to do what she's got to do. There's something wrong about that. There's something disordered about that. There's something cruel and unusual. Here's my 9-month-old baby daycare. And by the way, if you use daycare, that's fine. I'm not criticizing you. But I think deep down, most moms sob inside when they drive to daycare, wishing they could actually raise their kids all day long, but the economics are messing it up. And let me just say one last thing to the men. For men out there, this will not apply to all of you, because some of you guys might end up being police officers or firefighters or join the military, and God bless you for that. We need more people to do that. I mean that. However, men, you need early on in life to do whatever it takes to try, if working 2 jobs, not sleeping, going through the night, that during that precious period of time, you can literally buy your wife to be able to stay at home. What matters most, and unfortunately this is lost on a lot of college education, what matters most is not the skills you get, but the character you develop. The character you develop will be everlasting, much longer than the skills that you get while you're in college. Look, AI can be a good thinking partner, but I'm telling you guys, be very careful if you are replacing your own ability to reason with AI. You will be less human, and there is nothing sacred and nothing biblical with you outsourcing your humanity to a bunch of numbers on a screen. But the more I travel, the more I study, the more I realize widespread public crime is a choice. It is a choice by your leaders not to put police on the streets and convict the criminals. And this, by the way, is again, it's not a skin color thing. They always like to racialize it. But if you guys say no, you don't feel safe allowing your kids to play out at night in your home city, then your leaders have failed you and they should all be fired. Here's one very important thing that I think people get mixed. It is a sin to humiliate. You should never humiliate somebody. Now, if they humiliate themselves, like many do on my college campus videos, they did it to themselves. But sometimes I fall short of this standard in my videos. I do, I acknowledge it. But if you see someone that is sinning, you take them privately, say, hey, you're not living Christ-like in this way. Either you're engaging in homosexuality, or you're fornicating, or you're cohabitating. And by the way, we're not just picking on homosexuality. If you are living with somebody before you get married, you are sinning, and that is the sin of cohabitation. And now, and even worse than even all of those, if you are sleeping with a married person or sleeping while you are married, that is the sin of adultery, which in the Old Testament was punishable by death. I'm not saying it should be punishable by death, but it was a very serious sin in the Old Testament, right? But if I see somebody either, they are not living in a standard befitting of God. They might be recklessly gambling. By the way, we have a huge gambling problem in this country. The sports gambling stuff is getting totally out of control. And young men, I want to tell you, before football season kicks off, there's a much better use of your time than trying to do a parlay bet on DraftKings or FanDuel. Spend that money on yourself, by improvement on your family, or go buy Amazon stock. Don't go do that, okay? But that's a sin to gamble away. Or maybe you have the sin of drunkenness. Maybe you're just going out all the time and you're getting drunk. The point being is that a loving church, love God, love people, you love people by telling them the truth. And where the modern church has messed up, the church with the homosexual flag, they think the greatest sin is judging. They'll say, well, Jesus says do not judge. The Bible does not say that. Jesus says do not judge lest you not be judged. Oh, hypocrite, which by the way is a judgment. Jesus was telling us how to judge, not to judge. It is one of the misquoted, most misunderstood scriptures. And instead, what we need to do is we need to talk about the perfect standard that Jesus puts up and how we fall short of it, and that we as the church need to constantly be aiming towards the holiness. Some people say, well, Charlie, I just want to be happy in marriage. No, you don't want to be happy in marriage. You want to be holy in marriage. I recently had a dialogue with somebody who I respect, and I'm not going to say his name, but you would know it, very successful guy. And he made an argument, and he said, look, the next generation, it's better for them to rent than own. And look at all the space that you have in a home, and there's a lot of vacant space you don't use. Like, when's the last time you went to the dinner table, the dining room, and you don't need all that space, and you can have a much more efficient rental unit. And everything he says is right. It's more efficient to rent. But something about me feels like it's against the American way to not have, this is my piece of property, the government can't take it, a landlord can't evict me, and I will defend it with my guns if necessary. This is my home. I'm not criticizing anyone that's renting here at all. I'm just simply making a moral argument. In fact, we need to create a society of owners. Increasingly, the first-time home buyer in America used to be 30 years old a couple years ago. Now it's 38 years old. The average first-time home payment used to be 3.5 times annual income. Now it's 8 times annual income. And we're being told, well, just get rid of the ownership attachment, go and rent, it's better for you financially. Some of these people are saying, well, when you have to own, you have property taxes and you have maintenance and you have all these other costs associated. I know, but it's better. It's better for you to have something to be able to hand down to your kids. It's better to have a home where you could grow old. It's also better to have a place where someone's not gonna jack up the rent on you. It's better for you to be able to make modifications and adjustments and improve the value. America was made great not because we leased out a corner of a condo to some money-hungry landlord. America was great because we bought land and we held it and we made that land better and we handed it down to our kids. So I wholeheartedly reject the push towards you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. I want all of you to own something and to multiply generously.